Hey guys, Josh from CaliforniaThroughMyLens.com. I'm here with Chris from Last Adventure, and today we're hiking the Indio Hills Badlands.
Let's do this!
The trailhead for the Indio Hills Badlands is located off the 10 freeway at the end of Gulf Center Parkway. There's a small parking area for about a dozen cars there. During this hike, the hikers have to yield to the golf players. In all my hikes, I've never seen a hikers yield to golfers sign before, but there's a first time for everything. Made it to the city of Indio, and today we're hiking the East Indio Badlands. After crossing over the water, you'll start to head back into the desert landscape. We are leaving the golf course behind and heading up into the Badlands area. I should note that it's the winter right now and it's still freaking hot out here. We got to the top of that first little hill, already getting some pretty awesome views out towards the Badlands area. About the first mile of this trail is walking along this wash back to where those rocks are at. The beginning of this trail is actually pretty boring as you're just walking through the sand heading back into the hills. All right, we made it across the soft sand section. Hopefully this starts to become a pretty epic trail. We'll see. We reached a split and we are heading that way. Chris is showing us the epicness of the wind caves in this area.
Now don't try this at home because it's very dangerous. This is sedimentary stone which could collapse at any time, crushing you like a pancake.
It's nice to have a little bit of shade back here. This is starting to remind me a little bit of the slot area of Anza Borrego, just not as narrow. As you make your way up, the views back the way you came and into the Badlands area are really fantastic to see. It feels a lot like the wind caves I've seen where the rain and the wind erode the rock away. Heading downhill into that canyon. As you head over this hill, the trail starts to get a lot more narrow, much like the Slot Canyon area in Anza Borrego. It's cool that this is just one part of the trail and that there's so many different things you can see in this 5-mile loop. Props to the city for putting up good signs along this trail. This would be really easy to get lost if they didn't have good signs. However, this is not a city sign. Don't do this. This back area with the Slot Canyon is really nice because there's a good amount of shade late in the day like this, but I would definitely not recommend this trail in the heat of the summer. It would be brutal. Came from down there, and there's actually a decent amount of scrambling as we make our way up. While there's not a ton of elevation gain, there are a lot of ups and downs, some on loose rock and some that require scrambling. One last steep climb up this section right here. Came from all the way down there. Epic views down into the canyon. And we still have some cool views down there too. The main thing you'll notice as you head back is just how unique and diverse this area is. I found myself excited to see what was around every single bend as we made our way back. This trail is now opened up into this big old canyon. We're going around the bend and then we have one more climb before we start heading back down. There's some pretty cool wind caves up in that section of the trail. We're definitely in a much more open area now though. This part of the trail is a lot more exposed to the sun and you're basically just walking through the sand as you head forward. This section we're in now is basically just going uphill on these kind of wide canyons. We're almost at the top of the uphill for this hike though. As you leave the canyon, you'll be heading up on the last uphill portion of the hike, which is just switchbacks that are exposed to the sun. We came all the way around there, through this canyon, and then up here. When you reach the top of the switchbacks, you'll be walking along a ridge line with amazing views in both directions. It's crazy to see the Badlands area from a vantage point like this. We made it to the official high point on this trail. That's the canyon we came up, and it's crazy out here. Really awesome area to explore. Now all that's left is to head back down. This is a loop trail, so we get to see something new on the way back. During this section, you basically just want to soak in the views as you head downhill, since you don't have to do any more uphill on the rest of this trail. We've dropped a decent amount of elevation, and it looks like we're starting to head into a more narrow part of the canyon again. This area we're entering now is definitely cool again. Lots of cool kind of rocks and formations and all sorts of crazy stuff. I would say the first half of the trail as you're heading clockwise is probably the best, but this section is definitely cool to see as well. Check out this rock, it looks like it's dripping. All right, so right there is where we were at the high point, and then we came all the way down here to the wash, and we're about to meet up with the trail that we came in on to take us back to the parking area. That's it for this hike. We're back to the loop area that connects and takes us back to the parking lot. I would say this is a pretty cool hike in the area. That Slot Canyon part in the beginning was definitely the best part, but when you get up, there's some great views of the Coachella Valley as well. So if you're in the area, check it out, but definitely don't do it when it's hot, as it could be pretty brutal out here. That's it for this video. We'll see you on the next one.